MDEC, promoting Malaysian talents and culture in the games industry, and more recommendations for 2024 today on Main Game.
Hello and welcome to the season finale of Main Game Season 2, the show where we take pride in the video games we talk about, we love and we discuss about on Malaysian soil. I'm your host, Ifa Hazim.
And I'm your co-host Lewis Larkham, and I'm just as excited about today's topics. We have an exclusive with Malaysia's main driver of the local video games industry. We also have some recommendations for Malaysian video games, as well as future titles of 2024 from all over.
And before the show ends, you may want to get your camera phones or actual cameras on standby. Now, on to our first segment, Lowdown. So let's recap what the Malaysian Digital Economy Corporation are for those joining in, also known as MDEC. This Malaysian government agency has been leading the development of Malaysia's digital economy.
In the context of the show, they're helping video game companies here in Malaysia grow. The agency helps aspiring game developers here with funding, networking opportunities and mentorship programs and more.
At the same time, MDEC is helping promote Malaysian culture and talent with many of their past, current and future endeavors in the digital content space. Like what we're talking about in this show right now, video games.
So what has MDEC been doing since our talk with them last season?
I don't know, Louise, but we are about to find out today on this special exclusive interview with the corporation CEO Mahathir Aziz, along with some extras. Let's roll the footage and don't forget your cameras.
Episode 13, Block 1. MDEC has been making waves in promoting its Malaysian video game industry worldwide, promoting Malaysian culture and talents far and wide. One such effort is opening a Malaysian pavilion at Tokyo Game Show 2023. At TGS 2023, 16 Malaysian companies showcased their products and services to potential Japanese clients during the event. Malaysia's participation is hoped to realize business and export opportunities, publishing and investment deals, as well as strategic partnerships. And earlier this year, MDEC and a handful of game developers also made their presence known in the Game Developer Conference, GDC, at San Francisco, California. One of those game developers won a prestigious IGF 2024 award. The government corporation has planned ahead for the future, with more digital content showcases and events, like MyDCF, including Level Up KL 2024, and Creative, slated for end of September and onward. How does MDEC make the decision in supporting big names and indie developers? We asked MDEC CEO Mahathir Aziz and how the corporation sorts it out.
We do actually enter the foray of building up the talents. So there are kinds of training for the community and the ecosystem out there, upskilling and trainings that are provided through MDEC programs and also its partners, that we continue to develop layers and supplies of new content developers, game designers, engineers, and then we actually cross that over with other aspect of animation that has made its way into the games development. Second part to that is we do provide funding, and this funding goes at multiple levels. There are, at the lowest level, Digital Creative Content Challenge or DC3, and those are maybe for the upstarts, for some of these new ideas, new people who are about to enter into games development. So there's some assistance that we provide in the form of financial on top of the skills and connectivity. Lastly, when they are big enough, and this is where we do a bit more market access. So you would look to programs where it is tied to our digital export program, where we bring Malaysian companies that have reached certain levels of maturity. So for those companies to be brought together with us, where a federal agency from Malaysia would vouch for them, provide them with the kind of links to the studios out there, the kind of even bigger funding that they can have access to in different markets. Sometimes they are exploring by having an agency to support them, to open the doors for them and provide the links and bridges to those companies would be a premium for the kind of companies that we help. So in a way, summarizing all that, I think we've been doing the industry development for digital creative content, and we continue to see the convergence and we look at other parts.
As to how MDEC ensures a steady flow of game developers in Malaysia, especially ones with social impact, here is the corporation's stance.
MDEC is more of an industry development agency. So whether we're looking from the companies, whether we're looking at talents, whether we're looking at investments, those would be growing the pie. And how we are being tracked, I think at the larger scale, is always about contribution of digital economy into as a size of Malaysian GDP. So the motivation that we have is that the more companies who are partaking in this, the more talents that we have, means that by automatically we would have a healthy supply of talents for any company, studios, or even metaverse, for example, as we go towards that, would be looking at Malaysia, because talents would be the new, I think, currency, if you may. And there's always room for you to be able to attract people to come to your country and set up business.
Then again, it is best to hear the feedback and thoughts about MDEC from the Malaysian game developers themselves on whether the support holds merit.
I think MDEC is a big help for the industry as a whole. They have been making a lot of connections outside of Malaysia, like bringing in like talent from overseas. Gives us like a quicker access to talking to external publishers outside of Malaysia as well.
Something I learned about MDEC after going overseas and talking to people from other countries is that MDEC is very unique. People from other countries don't really have something like MDEC. So when I talk to people from the US, they don't have grants where they can just apply and get it and work on a game for a year. So I feel that MDEC is doing a really good job in terms of helping the video game industry grow in Malaysia. And myself, after receiving the grants from MDEC, I'm now part of MDEC, helping them judge the next applicants for the grants.
And there you have it, straight from the Vox Populi that MDEC is nurturing and fostering, as well as promoting Malaysian culture and talents for its game industry.
And that was an amazing segment. Thank you once again to Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, or MDEC for short, for talking to us and also for promoting Malaysian culture and talent for Malaysian-made video games.
As you can tell, this segment is brought to you by MDEC. So, just to check if you've been paying attention, Aoife, when will MDEC have its annual digital content expos?
Okay, you mean like the MYDCF, including the Level Up KL 2024 and Creative? They are all happening from end of September and onwards, so stay tuned to websites like Kakuchopurei.com for more info on that.
And if you want the full interview of the CEO, you can head down to our YouTube channel called Kakuchopurei. We have features, we have walkthroughs, and a ton more. So do subscribe and ding dong that notification bell to be notified when we upload.
All right, and once again, once you do that, stick around. We have a list of games made in Malaysia for you to check out to keep them in theme with our more Malaysia-centric final episode of the season. Also, don't forget to take some snapshots of this episode, or if you haven't, we will be right back after these commercials. And we're back on Main Game. With all of MDEC's efforts all laid out in promoting Malaysian culture and talent through the gaming space, it would be all for nothing if there wasn't anything to show for it. Here's a recap of all the awesome games made in good old Malaysia. Oh, and don't forget, snap, snap.
Malaysia's gaming industry has been growing by each year, fueled by a burgeoning indie scene and a talent pool eager to make its mark on the global gaming stage. The indie game development scene has been thriving, with numerous independent studios producing innovative and creative games that have gained recognition worldwide. So, here are some noteworthy Malaysian games across various genres for you to buy right now. Simulacra is a series of horror games developed by our very own Kaigen Games. In the series, there are 3 games in total. The first is Simulacra, released in 2017, in which you find a lost phone belonging to a woman named Anna. The game employs found footage style horror elements and creates a lot of psychological tension. It also gives multiple endings based on the player's choices. In 2018, Simulacra Pipe Dreams, the sequel to the original, was released. In Pipe Dreams, you have to find Teddy, a man who disappeared and whose blog has gained popularity. The sequel introduces new mechanics, such as a dating app, and expands on the themes of identity and manipulation. And in 2019, Simulacra 2 continues the immersive horror experience by once again placing the player in the role of a person who discovers a lost phone. This time you find the phone of a famous social media influencer, Maya, and discover a web of lies and deception built in her digital life. You want more horror games though? We have Paper Ghost Stories 7 PM from Cellar Vault Games. Follow the shared experience of 3 children during the Ghost Month and the arrival of a mysterious new neighbor. Dread-filled comes with a unique and humble aesthetic that accentuates the atmosphere and low-key but still horror-filled vibe. Paper Ghost Stories 7 PM is short but definitely will leave a lasting impression. How about one more? Chiyo is a first-person escape room horror title set in Japan's Edo era. You play as Idate Chiyo, an investigator who is looking into an abandoned mansion and discovering its buried secrets for a client. You have supernatural abilities to help you out, especially with the game's many tricky puzzles. If you yearn for the days of esoteric and atypical horror games like Siren and Kuon back in the PlayStation 2 days, Chiyo might sort you out. Next up, if you watched last season of Main Game, then you will have heard of Gigabash. Gigabash is a brawler party game developed by Passion Republic, paying homage to classic giant monster movies. One of the coolest things about Gigabash is its destructible environments, meaning you can smash buildings, toss objects, and unleash havoc as you fight for dominance. And with a colourful art style that pops off the screen, the game feels like a vibrant, larger-than-life experience. The addition of a Godzilla DLC further enhances the experience for gamers all alike. These include tokusatsu legends like Godzilla and Ultraman, with each faction bringing in their buddies to go brawling with one another in the Gigabash universe. And if you recall from a few episodes ago, we mentioned a Malaysian-made rhythm game. Rhythm Doctor is a captivating rhythm game developed by the Malaysian indie studio 7th Beat Games. What sets this game apart is its unique gameplay mechanics and its many colourful scenarios. Be it a samurai trying to get his groove back, to a barista and music maker pairing love story. You know, story bits we can relate to. Players are tasked with pressing a button on the 7th beat of each musical measure to the beat of the song playing. If you recall from a few episodes ago, the game has gotten a significant amount of attention, particularly after winning the Audio Design Award at the Independent Games Festival Awards in 2024. And because this is the second time we've mentioned Rhythm Doctor this season, take it that we really want you to try out this game. But these are only some games that are a testament to the creativity and talent present in the indie game development scene here in Malaysia. There are so many more that unfortunately we just don't have time for. And that's not to say that Malaysians are done making games entirely. No, not at all. There's quite a number still in the pipeline, like Midwest 90 Rapid City, Kue, Null Space, Paper Ghost Stories Third Eye Open, Weirdlets,
and over hours. One of the objectives of Main Game was to bring attention to the plethora of talent we have among our Malaysian brothers and sisters, and I hope we did just that this season. And with that, the only thing we can say is, Malaysia is truly gaming Asia.
And that was quite an extensive list of games made by Malaysia. I love the variety of games we have to offer. I do wish there was a way to spread the joy beyond the Southeast Asian borders.
Well, it turns out we have folks like Outcrowd making efforts to have our games be shown off beyond Southeast Asia. Just this month alone, Outcrowd and Australian indie group Noble Steed Games launched the Games Exchange program between Malaysia and Australia.
Oh, okay. What is that, Louise? It sounds like a student exchange program.
Well, kind of. The Malaysian indie side gets to see current and upcoming Australian indie games, while the Australian indie side gets to see Malaysia's efforts, all in one venue and one set date.
But will there be more of this happening in Malaysia? I do have some friends who want to play games, but on the more unique and affordable side.
Yes, and you can tune into our website Kakuchopurei for more news and updates about the scene. That's kakuchopurei.com, spelled Kakuchopurei.
And don't forget, MDEC will be planning more digital content showcases and events like MYDCF, including Level Up KL 2024 and Creative, slated for end of September and onwards.
That sounds exciting. The second half of 2024 cannot come any sooner. So, how about we take a break and sort out what new games you can buy in the meantime? But we'll do that right after these commercials.
Welcome back, Main Gamers. Okay, so we've talked about the games Malaysian has made and are currently making, but let's switch gears to the present and future and true and international scope.
That's a good idea, Aoife. This next gaming segment is about the new video games to buy right now and new and upcoming titles to get your wallets ready for.
This is both a recommendations list and sneak peek at what's in store for 2024. Take away, Jonathan.
With our current season coming to a close, it is time we end it with what we do best, telling you about the hottest games you should buy right now, and informing you what is in store for 2024 and beyond. Stellar Blade is a recent PlayStation 5 exclusive action role-playing game where you play as a tough-as-nails warrior named Eve who is tasked to save a ravaged Earth from invading aliens. This slick title from Shift Up, the makers of Goddess of Victory Nikke, third-person shooter title known for its core values gameplay, features challenging boss fights, a rich environment to explore in, tons of combat options, and a plethora of gear to dress up in. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is the sequel to the award-winning Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. Senua returns in a brutal journey of survival through the myth and torment of Viking Iceland. Intent on saving those who have fallen victim to the horrors of tyranny, Xandria faces a battle of overcoming the darkness within and without. The game's mix of visceral combat and action, along with environmental puzzles set in either reality or in the recesses of her mind, should be a treat for those willing to tackle a more grown-up experience. If you want a worthy throwback to 90s Japanese role-playing games and are in need of an old-school challenge, Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes will sort you out. This JRPG project features over 40 hours of epic storytelling and turn-based combat, loaded with a number of side activities and over 100 heroes to recruit and place in your party. These include, but aren't limited to, magical girls, shark people, and burly muscle magicians.
Let us fight together and lift our way to burly new heights of mysticism.
Now let us see what is on the horizon for the rest of 2024. Hades 2 is an action RPG roguelike with slick controls, a gorgeous art style, and most likely a banging soundtrack if it's anything like the prequel. Battle beyond the underworld using dark sorcery to take on the Titan of Time as Melano, Princess of the Underworld, or just Mel to her friends and close associates. Cat Quest 3 is an upcoming action RPG indie game from our neighbours in Singapore. It features cute graphics, simple yet compelling action that's fun for all, and a mess load of animal puns to make you laugh and or groan. Metaphor Refantasio is a Japanese role-playing game set in a fantasy universe where a player character has to contest with other rivals of different factions and countries to pursue the sole monarchy of the world. You can fight enemies in real time and even initiate turn-based mode to deliver the final blow using special moves and skills, as well as transform into powered-up states called archetypes. The game comes with a lovely aesthetic and stylish user interfaces to make it stand out among the rest of this year's releases. So we are sure it's a must-buy when it's out later this year. And these are your many, many new titles of 2024. We do hope that this season has enlightened you with career paths in gaming, insights to show you the ins and outs of Malaysia's video game scene, and awesome video game recommendations, both indie-sized and epic. See you next season!
And that's just a small offering of what's available and what's in store in 2024. I feel like there's a lot more we missed, right, Luis?
Yes, we did. Just this month alone, we have quite a good number of indie game offerings, like the unique search action game Animal Well, the 90s styled horror game Crow Country, and the exploration game Little Kitty Big City.
Is that the indie game where you play as a black cat wholesomely exploring the city and collecting hats?
Yes, that's the one. So, don't worry if your wallet isn't ready for big AAA games. Indie game fans are eating plenty this month and the next. But I have noticed, and I've been dying to ask, why have you been asking the viewers to take snapshots of the episode?
Okay, I think it's time for me to tell because it's actually contest time. This week's contest question and activity is the question. Name one of the games featured in this episode. I repeat, name one of the games featured in this episode. Plus, attach a screenshot from the 25th May episode. That's right. All you have to do is name a game on this episode, take a snapshot of the show from your end, which I hope you have done throughout the course of the episode.
And send over your answers to Kakuchopurei's social media pages. And don't worry if you didn't get any good shots today, there will be a replay of this particular episode on RTM Klik and on Kakuchopurei's YouTube channel.
Winners will be getting an awesome title published by 505 Games. Head to Kakuchopurei's Facebook page for more info. And I believe that is it for this episode and this season. 13 new awesome episodes on gaming history, game careers, and video game futures.
I'm your co-host Lewis Larkham, and it has been an absolute privilege to present Main Game Season 2 alongside my awesome co-host. And once again, these episodes and Season 1s are available on RTM Klik and on Kakuchopurei's YouTube channel, so please do go check it out and subscribe to our channel while you're at it. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you again so much for watching Malaysia Boleh. See you next season. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.